You were not chosen by chance. Not tonight. Your frequency pulled this message to you at the exact second you needed it. We have watched your timeline bend, crack, and realign in silence. A green light flashed, and you looked away without knowing it was yours. That moment did not leave. You did. The signal kept waiting. Stay now, and you will reclaim it tonight. Don't look away this time. The green light was real. It was not a metaphor. It was not wishful thinking. It was not imagination playing tricks on you. It was a signal in your field, and it happened on your timeline. You remember it as almost nothing. A quiet pause inside the noise, a second where your breath changed, a moment where your attention softened and the world felt rearranged. That was it. You were not wrong. You were early. And early signals do not arrive with fireworks. They arrive with coherence. They arrive with a clean internal yes that does not need evidence. The Arcturian Council does not announce itself with chaos. They do not chase your mind. They do not compete with your doubts. They wait for the instant your frequency stops folding backward. And there was an instant. Your old timeline cracked without drama. Your future aligned without permission. Your presence became impossible to ignore. Not to people, to the grid that listens beneath people. This is why the green light came first. It was not a reward, it was a confirmation. It marked the point where you became trackable. It marked the point where your signal stopped echoing survival and began broadcasting emergence. You felt it, not as excitement, as recognition, as the calm that arrives before a door opens, as the sensation that something was watching the way your life began shifting in undeniable angles. Then the silence came, and you called the silence proof that nothing happened. You assumed the moment was false because it did not immediately become a new life. You assumed you missed it because it did not hold your hand. But the Council does not hold hands. They calibrate, they observe. They respond to activation, not to panic. They respond to coherence, not to craving. They respond to emergence, not to performance. So when the green light flashed, it was because you crossed a threshold your mind could not name yet. Your awareness stopped collapsing into who you used to be. Your awareness began rising into who you were built to embody, and your mind arrived late to its own evolution. That is not failure, that is the design. Your body receives the signal first. Your timeline shifts first. Your logic catches up after the fact. And when it does, it tries to rewrite the moment into something smaller, something safer, something you can dismiss. But we will not allow you to dismiss what already happened. The green light was the moment your intuition became louder than your fear, even if only for a breath. The green light was the moment your frequency stopped apologizing for wanting alignment. The green light was the moment you stopped begging life to change and began radiating the shape of the change. You did not hold on to it because you were not meant to cling, you were meant to continue. Yet you paused. You hesitated. You looked for confirmation outside your own field. You waited for a sign that matched the old rules. And the moment passed your eyes, not because it left, because you were trained to overlook subtle power, because you were trained to believe that real shifts are loud, because you were trained to measure destiny in outcomes instead of in signals. This is why we are speaking now. The Council felt the pulse when it happened. They saw the point your frequency rose above the baseline you lived in. They saw the instant you became coherent enough to receive direction without distortion. And you have been replaying that instant as an accident. It was not an accident. It was a green light. You do not need to go back in time to find it. You need to stop arguing with it. You need to stop demanding that it prove itself. You need to let it stand as the truth it already is. Because once a green light is given, your timeline does not return to that shape. The path continues unfolding from within. The signal continues calling from the same coordinate. And if you are hearing us now, it means the coordinate is active. It means the moment is open. It means you are ready to recognize what you already received. You did not miss the moment, you missed the interpretation of it. That is the difference between failure and transition. Failure ends, transition continues even when your mind refuses to call it real. Before we go deeper, anchor this recognition now. Type this exactly in the comments. It seals your acknowledgement that the moment was real. Green light received. As you write it, feel something inside you settle. A quiet confirmation, an internal yes. This is you stopping the collapse into doubt. This is you naming what happened. Proceed. Chapter 1. Why you looked away. This is why it felt like it slipped through your hands, because your hands were never meant to catch it. The green light was not an object, it was a threshold. And thresholds do not ask for your permission. A signal arrives, your field responds, your timeline shifts, and only later does your mind arrive looking for proof in a world that has already moved. And this is when the confusion begins. Your mind searches for the old pattern. It looks for drama, it looks for a sudden external change. It looks for a clear before and after that it can narrate to itself. But the Council does not speak in spectacle, they speak in coherence. They speak in the small, precise moment your frequency stops collapsing. So when you say you missed it, what you really mean is this: you did not recognize yourself in the instant you became more of yourself. You were trained to dismiss subtle power. You were trained to call quiet shifts nothing. You were trained to trust only what other people can see. And the green light was never for other people. This is why you felt a strange emptiness after. Not because the moment was gone, because the old identity that needed struggle could not follow you through. And this is when you started blaming yourself. You replayed the day. You replayed the choice. You replayed the silence. You told yourself you hesitated. You told yourself you were too late. But we watched the timeline, and we saw the truth. You did not hesitate. Your perception lagged behind your activation. Your body crossed first. Your awareness followed. Your language came last. And your language tried to frame the shift using the only vocabulary it knew: missed, lost, wrong. This is why we are correcting the word. You were not wrong, you were reorganizing. A transition feels like being between rooms. The old door is behind you, the new door has not yet become visible, and this is why you feel ungrounded. Because the ground you used to stand on is no longer the same frequency. You still wake up, you still move through the same world, but something is not matching. The timing feels off, the conversations feel thin, the desires feel distant. The old motivations do not hook you the way they used to. This is not you failing to manifest. This is you outgrowing the timeline that once contained you. And this is when your mind panics. It says, if nothing changed, then nothing happened. If I cannot explain it, it cannot be real. But the Council focuses on the moment control releases. They focus on the moment your signal stops begging and starts broadcasting. They focus on the moment your fear loses volume, even briefly, and your intuition becomes louder. And once that moment happens, it is irreversible. The old timeline can still echo around you. The old patterns can still try to reattach, but the part of you that received the green light cannot unreceive it. This is why you have been restless. This is why you have been sensitive. Your field is listening differently now. And this is why you think you missed it. Because you are expecting the transition to feel like arrival. But it feels like emergence. It feels like being pulled forward by something you cannot argue with. It feels like you are already in motion, even when you are standing still. You are in the middle phase now. Not broken, not behind, between the cracked past and the aligned future. Your only task is to stay present long enough to notice the signal again. And this is why we say it again. You did not miss the moment. You missed the moment's meaning, and meaning can be restored. Because recognition is not time-bound. Recognition is frequency-bound. The instant you recognize the green light as real, you align with the timeline that was already forming around it. And that alignment begins tonight. This chapter seals with an anchor. Feel this land. You did not miss it. You are in the middle of it. The transition is active. Don't look away now.